The MSVR Focus Cup Championship is brought to you in association with Power Maxed. And so on to our third programme in the 2021 season. We're at Castle Combe. It's going to be one of the fastest circuits on the roster for this season. And remember, points count from qualifying and the races. Here's how they stand coming here this weekend. Scott Parkin leading from Spencer Fortag, Gary Mitchell in third and Charlie Barr fourth.
Simon, we last caught up with you at Oulton Park last year. How's the racing campaign gone since?
It's been an interesting start to this season. Two races which both were wet or damp, which is not my favourite, to be honest. So still being in the middle of the pack in the championship is okay. And I've got some of the circuits I really like coming up. Oulton Park again in a couple of races. Cadwell, which not a lot of people have done, but I have done in the pickup trucks a couple of years ago. Very narrow but good fun circuit. I like anything with hills. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's a slow start for me because I'll be the first to admit I'm not a wet racer. But today's been really good as well. So qualified 7th, which knocking 2.5 seconds off yesterday's practice time. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
First time this championship's been at Castle Combe. How about for yourself?
A track day in 2005, so I'm not really counting that, but never raced.
You know it well then?
Oh yeah, every corner, every bump, and it's got a lot of bumps.
Realistic aims for today and for the season?
Well, today, starting from 7th, I don't want to fall back. I want to be chasing down the pack, the guys at the top 4 who were in the 121s. We want to try and get on the back of them and follow. I mean, obviously if they make mistakes, that's great, but I'm realistic about those guys being a second quicker. I want to stay with them. For the rest of the season, I want lots of dry. And lots of tracks I like, so we've got Brands, Oulton, Cadwell, so to try and work my way up that table, keep hitting consistent points and maybe pick a couple of trophies up.
So Dale, here we are, Castle Combe, first time out for the Focus Cup Championship. Now we met you at Silverstone and that was your one and only time you were ever going to do this. So tell me what's happened since.
Yeah, well obviously I agreed to do Silverstone, and then after that, because it's been a few years, as soon as you get back in the seat you get the bug again, don't you? So a couple of talks with Simon after Silverstone and we've managed to sign up for the next 3 rounds, so back again for a few more races, which I'm over the moon with. I'm buzzing to be back really, it's fantastic, loving it.
Now you've done the mini challenge before. I think we've covered the fact that this is a different sort of racecraft, different sort of vehicle and so forth, but what is it about this championship that appeals then? I mean obviously you did one dip of the toe in the water and suddenly you've signed up for another 3.
Again, it's different to the mini challenge. I was sort of running that myself with a couple of friends. It was like very hard going and difficult, whereas this, because it's an arrive and drive package, you turn up, you get in the car, the lads sort the stuff out, which they do a fantastic job in doing, and it just takes a lot of the stress away from the weekend. You just focus on the driving, so it's perfect really. It's just works a treat for me.
Now Rob, we've not met each other before. Always great to see a new face on the grid. I believe you're just here just to have a bit of a dabble.
Yeah, it's a one-off. Obviously I've known Rob and obviously Simon, who have obviously made the series for many years. It was a free weekend, so I thought I'd come and have a play.
So when we spoke earlier, I know that you're doing the C1 series. I think in fact you run that one and you've done some other sort of motorsport. This is quite a change. So how have you found it with qualifying?
Enjoyed it actually. Normally obviously I run a race preparation business, so it's quite nice to actually not have to work on the car myself this time. It's a bit of a busman's holiday.
And what realistically aims for today? I mean, you're a pretty competitive guy, obviously, so I take it you want to be near the front end.
Yeah, the idea is to basically, if I can be in the kind of top half of the field, that's the aim, obviously. Just go out there and enjoy it, mainly.
Great to have racing on a grid where everything's equal.
Yes, exactly, and obviously that's the great thing about obviously the Focus Cup is that all the cars are equal. Obviously, everyone else, you know, all the guys here are running the cars, so no one's kind of got an advantage by, you know, playing with their cars at the workshop, etc. Every car is exactly the same.
So where did you start on the grid?
P4.
Oh, that's quite a good position to be in, isn't it?
It's not too bad. I'd like to have been higher up, but didn't quite get the lap together that I wanted to. But we're in the right, you know, part of the grid, so we'll see where we can go from there.
Robert Gaffney joins us in Focus Cup. That's great news. Pole position to Simon Rudd from Gary Mitchell, Scott Parkin and Mr. Gaffney. Lewis Ryan is next up from Charlie Barr, Simon Waugh and Simon Walton. Branko Kiprowski 9th from Richard Davis and Spencer Fortag. Jonathan Baker, followed by Robert Morgan, Dale Jameson, welcome back Dale, Simon Watts and Claire Avis completing the grid. So this is the view along to Folly. Well, as we look at the grid, they're going to run down into Folly, then Avon Rise and into Quarry Corner, on board with Claire Avis. So this is a very welcome sight, these cars here at Castle Combe. Lights are on, very quick starting procedure there, no mucking around today. Blue skies, a little bit of cloud cover, so things keeping relatively cool. It's a great start by Simon Rudd from pole position. Second pole on the bounce for him, and Scott Parkin puts the Powerflex car up the inside line, side by side, as they head down in towards Quarry Corner for the first time. The Powerflex car just going through Avon Rise now into Quarry Corner. They're still side by side. This could end in tears, but good driving standards from both of them. Rob Gaffney up into third. They've all made it around. This is brand new territory for them, of course. Some of the drivers may have raced or done track days and other things, as you heard in the interviews. Now this is through the first of the two chicanes, the S's, and it's Scott Parkin who leads them through. So Scott with a super start, having qualified third on the grid. What a start he had. Gary Mitchell would have consolidated second position in the championship. Remember, there are race points effectively on qualifying. So already great action going on this opening lap of the fifth race of the season. Spencer Fortag there, the man from Rochester, winner of race 2 at Donington Park, getting stuck in and trying to hunt down Richard Avis in the 77 car. There is Richard. There isn't room on the outside, and Spencer might go on the inside line. Meanwhile, Charlie Barr side by side with Rob Gaffney. Rob's got the inside line. Grateful to have known Rob Gaffney quite a long time, and first met him when he was racing in the Ginetta Junior Championship. I think it was the old G20s back then, and he moved up into that from Junior Rallycross, then went into Ginetta Seniors. Very well respected race driver and team owner, race preparation man, and great that he comes in and has a go in someone else's championship. And he's a quick peddler, fourth on the grid. Lewis Ryan 24 in the K&N car, looking to have a go as well. On board with Lewis, looks at the inside line. I've got to say, Combe is very well suited to these cars. All the tracks are, but really great thinking outside the box from the team to come to different tracks. Part of a full MSV race day here, and the fans love their racing here in Wiltshire. It's a very picturesque part of the world and a terrific circuit. So Gary Mitchell running in fourth place in the red 44. Charlie Barr right behind him. Charlie was first and second at Silverstone. Conditions a little bit different today. Barr, one of the three drivers sharing fourth position in the points coming into the meeting. That will change around a little bit after qualifying, and Charlie looking like he's going to tee up a move. Simon Rudd, the pole man, hoping to try and close down on the race leader at the moment, Scott Parkin, who did well to get up from third position on the grid. So super start from him. So around that first corner, Folly, then the kick to the left, Avon Rise down into Quarry Corner, where we pick the cars up now. It is a very close battle between the Powerflex car out front, the Cartech machine in P2, and Simon Rudd sticking his nose up the inside line. He's got the run as they come down farm straight into the S's, and he's got track position. Scott Parkin knows that. He cedes the place, so Scott Parkin has got all the work to do now as they come out of the S's through Old Paddock Bend now. Then it's into Hammerdown, down to Tower Corner, and then to Bobby's in car with Rob Gaffney. Rob, I know, is going to be a super smooth driver, and I guess that could well suit these cars. And he's got the box seat at the moment. He's in for a real treat, watching the battle for lead place. Rob Gaffney closing up in the black and fluorescent yellow 46 car. Rob's traditional number, incidentally, 46. So Scott Parkin, now the chaser, down from second. What sort of momentum can he get as they head down towards the final corner of the lap? Camp Corner, if you don't know Castle Combe, we haven't seen it, of course, on the Focus Cup before. A little bit further back, Branko Kiprowski and Spencer Fortag, both front runners at previous rounds, and a little bit further back, by no means at the back of the grid, as Rob Gaffney now getting his skates on. Gaffney looks up the inside line, takes to the grass a little bit and goes through into second place, but now he's got the outside line. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? He does on the outside. King through Avonrise maintains that, therefore holds on to the inside as they go into Quarry Corner. Plenty of overtaking in this race, absolutely superb, but not finished yet. Is Scott Parkin, looks round the outside line, and as they go into the chicane, seeds it. Gary Mitchell in the Mintex car is coming up to play now as well, the 44. Gary's second place qualifying, the best of the season so far, only the third round of course of the year, but he's best of the season. Simon Rudd's second pole on the bounce. The other pole, of course, going to Scott Parkin, the opening round of the year at Donington Park. An extremely competitive championship, and of course it is by design. You heard Rob Gaffney talking about the evenly prepared cars, and the proof of that is in the statistics we're seeing from qualifying, from the racing. So in car with Gary Mitchell, Scott Parkin defends the inside line, now goes back to the outside, and Gary Mitchell sees the gap and he's going to go through. Mitchell in the Mintex car, great move, super cat and mouse stuff between the pair of them, and Mitchell goes through, and we've got another car coming up to join the party, which is Charlie Barr. Now where is Mitchell in all of this? He's on the outside line, there's a little bit of contact, very close stuff. They all keep going. We've got the K&N car coming up in the mix as well. Lewis Ryan's going to try and come through and join in. He was the fourth car. So Lewis Ryan joining in, Gary Mitchell up to third. Let's see whether Ryan can squeeze through on the inside line. Are we going to get some panel bashing going on between, or panel paint trading between the pair of them? Got the Liquid Molly car coming into the mix as well, which is Simon Waugh. Simon, as you heard, was hoping to be up with the front runners, and that has come true. All good, close stuff here at Castle Combe, and more for you after the break. Scott Parkin working hard, chasing Lewis Ryan up ahead of them. You can see Charlie Barr in green. Charlie at the moment running in third place. Fourth place, I beg your pardon, because Gary Mitchell in red is in third, so Charlie Barr fourth. The race leader, Simon Rudd. Simon actually still looking for his, I say still, it's only his third meeting, but looking for his first race win. It's a problem for Simon Walton, who will bring the number 6 car into pit lane. Now, is that a pit lane visit or into retirement? Possibly a retirement. Simon Waugh getting stuck in there, the Liquid Molly car. You can see how close everybody is. Branko Kiprowski in yellow goes through, trying to close on that group. Scott Parkin at the head. Spencer Fortag immediately behind the Liquid Molly car of Simon Waugh, trying to close in. The onboards, to me, give you a really good idea of the cambers and the corners here, because whilst ostensibly it's a flat circuit, there are some real tricky cambers all the way around. Tell you what, the Macedonian there, Branko Kiprowski, is closing in on this battle between Spencer Fortag and Simon Waugh. The top two have broken away a little bit, Simon Rudd and Rob Gaffney, but the rest of the cars headed by the likes of Charlie Barr are pretty much line astern, and there might be a couple of cars lengths here and there, but pretty much all grouped together. Gary Mitchell there running in third place in red. Mitchell having his best qualifying of the season today, and thereby also consolidating second place. He was tied with Spencer Fortag coming into this meeting, so consolidate second. I don't think manages to close in on Scott Parkin, and we're going to see a change here because Charlie Barr moves up and goes into third place. So Gary Mitchell being deposed from podium position. And I'll tell you what, he's got his mirrors full as well, because Lewis Ryan has got momentum and looks round the outside line of the Mintex car here. What a move by the 24. Lewis Ryan confidently goes around. Now, as Gary Mitchell picked up some sort of problem, because he qualified in second place. It's his best qualifying of the season thus far out of the 3 rounds we've had. just looking to see whether he's going to drop away from the K&N Filters car. No, he's not. He's having to go back. Whether Gary missed a gear somewhere or whether the car went wide or whatever, but he seemed to lose momentum, but he's back on it and chasing that Swan Flight logo on the back of the K&N Filters car. So Mitchell with a fair amount of work to do. The Powerflex machine is next up. Lewis Ryan still there. Lewis on the podium at Silverstone race 1, his first podium in the championship, his first meeting Donington, remember, 10th and 8th. We have a mixture, a very healthy mixture, as we've said before in Focus Cup, of new drivers to the championship and some regulars. This is the third campaign, the third year, not quite a full year last year, but third season of racing with Focus Cup, and it is that very healthy mixture you get in championships that thrive of new drivers and returnees, and then you get the dabblers like Rob Gaffney coming and having a little play. Rob's been watching this from his berth with the Track Day Trophy, who run with us on the MSV bill, and that's a real accolade to get a driver like Rob coming in here and having a go. Branko Kibrowski has closed the gap on this group. This is super stuff from the Macedonian, and a little mistake there by Simon Waugh, who runs wide, and Kibrowski now is going to have a go. There's a gap on the inside line. He's trying to pump the yellow car up the inside line, but Simon Waugh's having none of it. Good entry into the chicane by Simon Waugh to defend position. Runs a little bit wide, not too wide though on the exit, but a nice bit of defending from Simon Waugh from Branko Kibrowski. Good driving from Branko to close in. And watching this battle at the moment and hoping to join in himself is Spencer Fortag, race winner of round 2 at Donington. Spencer got fastest lap in the first race at Donington Park, so very much one of the form men there, and was second in the championship jointly with Gary Mitchell coming into this round. So no slouch at all. Of course, there is, I guess, the case that some drivers are going to be more familiar with this new track to the championship than others. Now, whether Spencer hasn't maybe done the track days or been here, or maybe not even done some time on Similar, I don't know. So Charlie Barr going through in third in green, so this is looking like another podium for Charlie Barr. It'll be the third one in succession for him, so he seems to be the form man as we go back to this thrilling battle between Branko Kibrowski and Simon Waugh. Simon out front, Branko takes it tight there. Simon runs wide and he's on the grass. The Liqui Moly car comes back on, but not too far on. He knows his blue book, he knows he can't get in the way of another driver. That was a good recovery from Simon Waugh. Sure, he made the mistake, but recovered well. Branko Kibrowski through on the inside line, and a clean pass. Now, did Branko force him into the mistake? I'm sure Simon had to look in his mirrors at some point. Now we're with Gary Mitchell getting back on the case of Lewis Ryan. Charlie Barr is up ahead in green, and a little bit further down the road, quite a long way down the road, first and second Simon Rudd and Rob Gaffney. It's been a good first race for this championship here at Castle Combe. Rudd still with the fastest lap of the race as we ride on board with Scott Parkin. Gary Mitchell still busy chasing Lewis Ryan, the East Yorkshireman. Across the line they go again. Here comes Charlie Barr. He's definitely looking for that third podium at the moment. It's not going to be any higher than third place unless things go right for the pair of drivers at the front, Simon Rudd and Rob Gaffney. Now that's Charlie Barr. Big plume of smoke from Charlie Barr. How the drivers knew where to go, I don't know. Charlie Barr sticks to the outside of the track, and the podium is suddenly now wide open as Barr goes into retirement. Hopefully he'll be able to use a different car for race 2. Remember, we saw that with Simon Rudd at Silverstone. That's one of the big advantages of this championship. If the organisers have a spare car, I think there may be, they'll be able to get you out. Anyway, back with the race. Lewis Ryan from Gary Mitchell. This now becomes the scrap for third place, so the last step on the podium. Scott Parkin is the chaser, then Branko Kibrowski up from 9th place into 6th, so 3 places gained for Branko. What a mover through the grid he has become. Rob Gaffney chasing Simon Rudd. It looks to me like Simon Rudd is going to have done enough here very easy to forget this is potentially his first win with the performance that he's put in today, with pole position. Lost the lead at the start, clawed it back, and has just simply got his head down and goes away as we watch Lewis Ryan still there at the moment from Gary Mitchell. Lewis Ryan looking to get a second podium in the championship. So here is Gary Mitchell, very close indeed, this podium battle. We'll watch this. We'll also keep one eye on Simon Rudd in the closing stages of the race, looking set for his maiden win in the championship. Gary Mitchell was chased all the way, but let's go back to the leader. There is Simon Rudd going through shot from Rob Gaffney. Still got this super battle going on for third place, away from the two race leaders. Rudd still with the fastest lap as they go through the chicane at Bobby's once again into Westway. There is the race leader heading down into Camp Corner, and Simon Rudd, it's P1, he says. He takes the win, his first win in the championship, and it's Rob Gaffney in second. 1.5 seconds down is Rob. Lewis Ryan will take third and complete the podium from Gary Mitchell. Scott Parkin next up, then Branko Kiprowski. 3 places gained for Branko. Plenty of overtaking in that race here, and a very welcome opening race here at Castle Combe. Who else is in the race? Richard Avis chasing Dale Jameson. Good to see Dale coming back for more. Robert Morgan going across the line there in the number 7 car in 12th place. Simon Watts and Claire Avis will be behind them, but a maiden win for the Cartec machine of Simon Rudd. Rudd wins with fastest lap from Rob Gaffney, Lewis Ryan and Gary Mitchell. Scott Parkin 5th and Branko Kiprowski. Simon Moore 7th ahead of Spencer Fortag and John Baker. Dale Jameson in 10th from Richard Avis, then Robert Morgan, Simon Watts and Claire Avis completing the finishes.
Simon, great race win there. Great for points as well. All action there in the first few laps, and then you managed to break away a gap there with Mr. Gaffney.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had quite a bit of pace in qualifying, so I was thinking that as long as I could get away at the start and get a good start, then we should be okay. I lost out to Scott at the start on turn 2, I think, and he made it quite difficult to get past. Had a little bit of contact with Rob, but luckily that was all okay in the end. Then managed to get past Scott and then let the rest of them battle whilst I was able to build a gap.
Now clearly I was going to ask you about testing, because most of you haven't been to this circuit before. You've managed to get some testing in yesterday, so you've got to learn pretty quick the lines and so forth around, haven't you?
Yeah, I've never been here. Yesterday was the first time I've ever come near the place. So yeah, I've been doing a bit of research this week, a few YouTube videos, a few track maps, which really helped me yesterday. I think yesterday we sort of had some good pace, so I knew if I could hook it together in quali, then we'd be okay.
Rob, an exciting race. Second place there, that's got to be incentive not only for race 2, but maybe for other rounds this season.
Yeah, obviously, you know, it was a great race. Obviously, it was nice to be at the front and be in control of it as such with Simon. Obviously, you know, Simon was just that little bit too quick for us, and obviously managed to get that gap and just couldn't kind of reel him in. So, but yeah, the idea this weekend was kind of be competitive, be at the front, and yeah, a podium is exactly what we wanted.
Some clear racing lines from both of you there. Managed to pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, we knew that basically it was a case of if we could kind of break the toe, we could kind of gap the rest of the people. You know, the draft, you know, the slipstream here is massive around the main straight. So if we could kind of break that, we knew that we could kind of get away, and that's exactly what we managed to do.
Lewis, an action-packed race there. After the first couple of laps, the main story was about third place, so well done. How was it from the driver's seat?
Yeah, excellent race. Really quite scrappy out there. Fortunately, Charlie Barr had a bit of bad luck with a blind turbo there, so that sort of put me up to third. But yeah, there was some really close racing. So
pressure was on all the time though. You couldn't really relax. Your mirrors were full.
Yeah, I had Mitchell behind me pushing me around for the last 3 or 4 laps, and he was giving me a lot of pressure. So fair play to him. Yeah, glad to see the checkered flag towards the end there, to be honest.
For most drivers, this is a totally new track to learn. So how did you get on?
Yeah, same for me. First time I've been around here. Good testing yesterday, so I learnt my way around there. But yeah, it's a really complicated track, to be honest. It's hard work out there.
As the winners take their silverware, we look forward to race 2 coming right up after the break. Welcome back to Castle Combe, our third programme of the 2021 series. Race 1 of the day, won by Simon Rudd from pole position, and he's got a little bit more work to do in race 2, starting from a partially reverse grid in 6th place. The work is going on in the paddock to keep these equally prepared machines totally immaculate, and Barry has taken the chance to catch up with a few of the drivers.
So Spencer, we go from the very rainy, drizzly Silverstone to a very sunny Castle Combe. So how's it turned out so far for you?
Yeah, it's great. I was happy enough when it was chucking it down, but I'm even happier now that it's sunny. I'm a lot more confident in the dry. So yeah, it's been a good day. We had some issues with the car, unfortunately, but hopefully they're ironed out now and still the last race to go. So yeah, fingers crossed.
As we started this event, second in the championship, so pressure's on a little bit there.
Yeah, it would be, at this stage I'm thinking about obviously the championship and trying to win it. Scott is, an exceptional driver, lots of experience in lots of different things. We often joke about how many race series he does, but he's an exceptionally quick guy. And it's nice to have someone like that leading it that, that I can try and, get better with by watching stuff that he does and some of the other drivers as well. So it's nice to have that depth of driver talent where you can get better by watching other people.
A lot of mid-pack action in race 1 there. You were in amongst the mix there most of the time. How did that feel? I mean, how does that put you instead for race 2?
Yeah, it's good fun. I come from a karting background and then Caterhams, so I'm used to being in a pack very close together. It doesn't faze me at all. I was pushing very hard for 6 because obviously that gives you the benefit of not just more points but starting first in the next race. But unfortunately the problem resurfaced and I wasn't able to push any harder.
So where does that put you in race 2?
God knows. I think 11th or something. So all to do. But now that the boost is back, my race pace is on it. I was about 2 or 3 tenths off quickest lap. So the pace is there. I know I've got good racecraft. So all to look forward to in race 2.
Scott, we normally see you on the pointy end there. That was a very action-packed race, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely a lot more eventful than I would have wanted. So I got a really good start in relation to Simon and Gary in front of me. So managed to get to turn 1 with nose in front, and then managed to sort of control the pace as much as possible, trying not to push too hard because I knew with the temperatures that were going to be a problem in this race, and then basically had not a comfortable margin but enough of a margin that I was happy with, and then basically had limp mode, so when the coolant temperatures on these get above 110 degrees it pulls the power a little bit, which then everybody swamped me, dropped back down to 6th, 7th, something like that, which then put me in the pack where we were having a lot of battles. And then just a case of managing temperatures then basically. I kept getting limp mode every once in a while, so I was having to back off, getting the clean air. So I think 5th war probably as good as I could get, which was unfortunate that we had a retirement due to a turbo failure, otherwise it would have probably been a 6th, so that's a bit of a shame, but that's just racing. So should hopefully be P2 for the next race, so try and do the same again, but then keep the coolant temperatures down if possible.
That's the beauty of the reverse grid format, isn't it? In the fact that you came into this leading the championship, you didn't get a podium, so obviously there's a loss of points there, but you get the flip side of that coming in race 2.
Yeah, definitely. All is not lost in the first race, which I think is good. So it's just a case of trying to capitalise on that reverse grid, hope that the guys who finished further up are going to have more battles behind and get caught up, and hopefully we can just drive away and get a nice comfortable gap.
So Gary, if anyone was fighting for that 3rd place podium there, I think that was you.
Yes, it was. Bit of a rookie mistake coming off the start line, got a really good start, dropped into 2nd, and then when I went to go for 3rd I put it in 6th. So you might need the beat machine for the in-car for that one, but it was very competitive in the first race. Everybody's jostling, were very close, and it was just a case of I didn't really want to get any damage or spun round, and I'm trying to keep up with the points, and it's the point scoring, so it was still pushing. It'd have been nice to finish 3rd, but 4th is still a good finish for me, so it's been a good race.
Now, Silverstone Circuit to here, quite a contrast.
Oh, definitely. This is my first ever visit, and to be honest, the track is absolute awesome. It's really quick, and so it doesn't matter which line you take. The lines are so different. It's not like your top tracks where they're nice and flat, and your different lines tend to be quite similar. These are they have bumps and mounds and cracks and divots and lifts, and you don't know what you're getting from one line to the next, to be honest. So it keeps you on your toes.
So the grid reversals look like this. Branko Kaprowski and Scott Parkin from Gary Mitchell and Lewis Ryan, then Rob Gaffney and Simon Rudd. The second group headed by Robert Morgan and Richard Avis. Behind them, John Baker and Dale Jameson from Simon Watt and Spencer Fortag. Simon Watson, Claire Avis with Charlie Barr and Simon Walton completing the grid. Charlie and Simon not swapping cars with each other, but Charlie Barr now in the 22 and Simon Walton in the 27 car, which will confuse things, but obviously we've managed to get Charlie Barr back out on track as we join Spencer Fortag with work to do. Branko Kaprowski looks good here in pole position. He's going to be a difficult man to beat. Gets off the line well, and on the outside line it's Scott Parkin, but Branko dropping back. He's got a problem. Rob Gaffney jinks to the inside line. Gaffney coming up into P2. Frustration from Kaprowski. He looked like he made a very efficient move off the line, but the car, I think, has expired. Everybody going past the Macedonian driver. That is such a shame. I was expecting big things of him in this race. We're watching Rob Gaffney on board with him in third place in the black and green car. Fourth position is Lewis Ryan, coming up well there. Benefiting from the reverse of the second group of 6 is Richard Avis. John Baker in that group as well. Briefly on board with him in car number 10. But it's the Powerflex car from P2. Scott Parkin, the championship leader, coming into the meeting. Who would have thought that the championship leader was going to benefit from the reverse grid? And, you know, he said that in the interview with Barry, that this is the way the championship can work sometimes. If you're not having the luck in race 1, things not going your way, just get up into that top 6, get the reversal, and maybe get the hammer down, which is also the name of part of the circuit here, and maybe grab some decent points to defend that championship lead. Another great start, apart from poor old Branko. We're in car with Spencer Fortag, having a look at Robert Morgan in the safety devices car. And Spencer's going to jink to the inside line here. I don't think close enough to do anything about it at the moment. Gary Mitchell in second place, where he qualified at the start of the meeting. You can see the sun starting to go down as we're at the end of the day here. It's been a beautiful day in Wiltshire. Highly commend this circuit. Great friendly team. The commentary team's superb here. They'll keep you informed all day long. But in car with Richard Avis, looking to try and pick up some decent points. He was on the podium at Donington Park in race number 1. Wants to get back up there. Rob Gaffney on the outside line as they go through Quarry Corner. Now there is the 22 car next to with Barr written on the side, so no longer Simon Waugh. He's not actually in this one, Simon Waugh. But Charlie Barr will get the opportunity to try that different car and try and make some points up. Barr, remember, joint 4th with Simon Rudd and Mark Proctor coming into the meeting. Procky not with us. Richard Avis going through. So Gary Mitchell we're looking at the moment is in second place. Scott Parkin, the race leader. Scott double winner so far this year. Are we going to see him bag a third from the reverse grid? He did so at Silverstone. Simon Rudd having a look at Lewis Ryan. There is the K&N car of Lewis Ryan, currently in 4th place, chasing Rob Gaffney. Rob a little bit cagey about having another go. To be fair, he's got plenty of cars of his own to prepare, but you know, maybe he'll fancy another day away from preparing track day trophy cars or C1s or many of the other things that he gets involved in. And nice for him to just blow the dust off, and certainly, you know, quick in both races here. P2 in race number 1, running 3rd here at the moment ahead of Lewis Ryan. There is Simon Rudd, remember, started 6th. He's in 5th place, so very difficult to make progress, but we will see some more overtaking. Gary Mitchell busy chasing Scott Parkin. Parkin the race leader. Mitchell will be determined to grab another result. Extremely consistent, the T-sider, 43 years of age. The 5 races so far for the Mintex 44 car, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th and 4th. Always fast, always up at the sharp end. Very, very consistent. Rob Gaffney is behind him. Then Lewis Ryan, Spencer Fortag getting stuck in. Back on board with Gary Mitchell now, getting a run on the race leader. Mitchell challenges for the race lead on the outside line of the Powerflex car, and I think gets his nose in front, but looking in the mirror, holding on to the inside line is Scott Parkin. Well, Scott started on the front and he knows he's in a race here. Across the line they go. Gary Mitchell, fair play for having a go, and it means that Rob Gaffney will get involved, because not necessarily slowing each other up big time, but they're scrapping, and Rob Gaffney will see that, and he's joining in. Gaffney now starting to have a go at Mitchell as they go through Avon Rise. You can see the track, the road rising before you, as the Irish would say. Down into Quarry Corner, it's a quartet for the lead. Fantastic stuff from the Focus Cup on its maiden visit. Oh, sadly, Branko Kiprowski, as we rather suspected, limping into pit lane. That is hard lines for the man who started on pole position. We were expecting big things. He's very capable of big things, and he, I'm sure, will come back for Cadwell Park and then Alton Park next time around, which is good. But look at this four-way battle for the lead. In car with Lewis Ryan, fourth place at the moment. Rob Gaffney immediately in front, and Lewis just concentrating on the racing line. A little bit of dust being kicked up by Robert Gaffney, taking it back to his rallycross days. He's actually gone nowhere near the grass, to be honest, but I know Rob would expect me to have a little pop somewhere along the line. A great character. I remember Rob coming up when he was racing in Ginetta Junior, coming up to chat to me in the commentary box to introduce himself, and not many drivers take the time to do that, but he did as a youngster. Got his head screwed on. Great family team, and enjoy their racing. I think the customers enjoy racing with him, and he's enjoying Focus Cup for sure, as Gary Mitchell again tries to challenge for the lead. In car with Gaffers once again, having a quick look in the mirrors to see if there's a challenge on behind him. There isn't at the moment. He's closing on Gary Mitchell here, and has Mitchell seen him? Yes, he does. That was good driving from the pair of them. Mitchell was aware. Coming through as well is Lewis Ryan, now up into third place. So Rob Gaffney up into P2, but it's momentarily, because Lewis Ryan gets the inside line of the K&N car. Rob Gaffney just chops across, consolidates third position. Spencer Fortag in the chasing group, then the safety devices car of Robert Morgan, followed by Richard Avis, and much more to come for you in part 4. Join us then. Welcome back to Castle Combe, and Robert Morgan being challenged by Richard Avis. Richard, a regular with the championship since it began, and a very neat move in the Swanflight.com car through on the inside line. 77 passes 7. Coming up in the mix as well is Charlie Barr, acquainting himself with that new car. John Baker, the man from Kent, is in behind as well. So a good close group of 4 drivers. Here we are at the rear of the quartet, and certainly challenging at the moment is Baker. Looks to the outside line of Charlie Barr. So Baker challenging. You can see the new driver insignia on the back of the car, challenging the race winner from Silverstone and getting the job done. Superb effort from John Baker, learning his craft. Charlie Barr in the Liquid Moly car is at least getting some points after the engine problems that he had in race number 1. Charlie down in 10th place at the moment, so will be some championship points. That will keep him in the mix. 4th or maybe 5th in the championship, as Richard Avis, also a front runner, I think in line for 7th place in the championship at the moment, if things stay the way they are. Charlie Barr, though, wants to get back at John Baker. So let's see what Charlie can do. 28-year-old chasing 44-year-old. Great age range here. And it's wonderful that the championship isn't defined as a gentleman racers championship or a youngsters. It's a mixture of all the age ranges for anybody who wants to come have some close competitive racing in superbly evenly matched, well-prepared cars. There is Richard Avis. Richard trying to hunt down now on Gary Mitchell, who sadly has dropped away. A bit of a gap now between Richard Avis and Robert Morgan. John Baker still getting stuck in and having a very good race of things as we go back up at the front, and it is still Scott Parkin, the Powerflex car from pole position, leading that group through. Another great look at John Baker in the number 10, running well. So in car with John, impressive set of dials to look at this 15-minute race. John trying to close down on Robert Morgan. The pair of them battling it out for 8th place. I tell you what, Baker looking pretty handy here, and certainly giving Robert Morgan a run for his money. Morgan, I think, possibly the oldest driver in the championship, comes from Melton Mowbray. He won't thank me for saying one of the older drivers, but again, just to underline the fact that we have got such a good range of ages in this championship, and Baker getting closer again. Robert Morgan, though, driving very assuredly at the moment. You can see not overly defensive. He'll come out now, grab the racing line as they come round Camp Corner, the final corner on the lap. Over the grid lines, across the line, and here's Simon Rudd, who's got a run on Rob Gaffney on the outside line as they head up Avon Rise. Switch cars onto Rob Gaffney. Simon Rudd goes through, the race 1 winner. I think Rob's enjoying his racing. He'll be a little bit disappointed to be down in 4th place. Scott Parkin from Lewis Ryan. Then now Simon Rudd completing the podium at the minute from Rob Gaffney. And then if we look back, I think Spencer Fortag next up ahead of Gary Mitchell. So 4 cars in the lead group at the moment. Not at the minute having a particularly huge dice. We'll see whether Rob Gaffney can get back on. Tell you what, Simon Rudd here fancies getting up another position. Simon, the man who's doing the most climbing in terms of championship points this weekend. But he's got Rob Gaffney for company, and Rob's going to have a look at the inside line as they head down into that first chicane. So from Quarry Corner, it's farm straight into the S's, out of the S's now, down towards Old Paddock Bend, then through Hammerdown, Old Paddock, where the second commentary box is here for the circuit commentary team. Meanwhile, the race leaders have completed the lap. Well, I'll be whittering on about this 1.85 mile circuit. And in car with Spencer Fortag, who is closing in on Rob Gaffney. So Spencer doing a great job and challenging for 4th. Rob not looking happy at the moment, and a similar run to the one we saw executed by Simon Rudd. Again, on board with Rob Gaffney, down the inside line. Rob not giving up without a fight. Spencer Fortag on the outside line. Brave stuff around the outside line at Quarry. Superb racing from the pair of them. Good clean stuff. Rob knows he doesn't want to punt anybody off. Just doing the one meeting, so I don't want to interfere with anybody's championship other than just racing to get up as high as he can. Meanwhile, here is the lead, the Powerflex car of Scott Parkin, the man from Barnsley, leading this one. Lewis Ryan in P2, Simon Rudd in 3rd, and Rudd has climbed well here. Remember, race 1 winner, started 6th, up into 3rd place. Every position gained, very valuable championship points, and he's going to be chasing Scott Parkin, who is the championship leader. So Simon Rudd, I think he's going to go up into P2 in the championship. Spencer Fortag has driven superbly here as well. Started 8th on the grid and very nearly up onto the podium. So Spencer said that the problems with the car would be sorted out in his interview with Barry between the 2 races. And that machine running very well indeed, and being driven well too. So race leaders all across the line. Rob Gaffney has time to just take his right hand off the steering wheel briefly before he mounts the challenge on the number 4 car. So he is getting momentum back. This is what we saw Gaffers do earlier on. Runs a couple of wheels on the grass and on the dirt to try and go through. If there's half a gap, Gaffney will take it, and he goes down through on the inside line, keeps it tight, gives room on the outside line, and Spencer finds himself on the grass. Gary Mitchell's going to come through as well. Watch for Mitchell. There he is, Gary Mitchell coming through on the inside line as they come up into the chicane. Mitchell through. Spencer Fortag, I don't think he'll be overly happy at losing 2 places, but what a super move we saw him put on Rob Gaffney earlier. Look how much ground he's lost, and now into the clutches of Richard Davis. So much great dicing going on in our second race here at Combe. This has got to be a venue we want to come back to. Remember, just the 3rd season of Focus Cup racing, and this has been, I think, a very popular round. Spencer getting a little bit frustrated, runs a little bit wide again from challenging to a podium, back down behind Rob Gaffney, who's really getting stuck in and enjoying his race. He just saw that gap. And this is what you want to see, isn't it? Clear traffic or clear circuit when you're leading the race, and that's what the Powerflex car of Scott Parkin has as he goes across the line once again. Parkin, Ryan, Rudd. Simon Rudd in blue and white. Rob Gaffney is in 4th in the black and green car from 5th on the grid. up Avon Rise. In car with Lewis Ryan, still chasing hard. Lewis chasing his first win. Is he going to be able to grab it in the closing stages of this race? He's working hard in the K&N Filters car. If he doesn't get it today, I don't think it's going to be too long in coming. Ryan really putting the challenging in now as they go into the chicane. Gets right close to the Powerflex car. 26-year-old chasing 30-year-old out front at the moment. Now coming into the mix as well is Simon Rudd, who's closed in on them. This will change the complexion of this because Lewis Ryan will have to be mindful of the chasing 42 Cartec car. Here they come, the 3 race leaders headed by Scott Parkin, the championship leader, who's got a little bit of breathing space by my view at the moment as they go into Bobby's once again. Down into Westway, in car with Simon Rudd, chasing hard. Is he going to be able to go for those extra championship points? Along the Dean Straight, coming into Camp Corner, but it is still the 13 car, Scott Parkin, who comes up to the checkered flag, and the championship leader takes the reverse grid race win. Second position, Lewis Ryan. A great drive from the top 2, and indeed from Simon Rudd in 3rd place. Rob Gaffney next, Gary Mitchell and Spencer Fortag. Here is the battle between Robert Morgan and Jonathan Baker. Morgan gets the better of Baker. That was for 8th position. They've enjoyed a race-long battle, and we've enjoyed seeing Scott Parkin pick up his 3rd win of the championship here at Castle Combe. Scott Parkin the winner, Lewis Ryan next from Simon Rudd, 3rd and fastest lap for him. Rob Gaffney 4th from Gary Mitchell and Spencer Fortag. Richard Avis 7th. That great battle between Morgan and Baker next up from Charlie Barr in 10th, Dale Jameson 11th from Simon Watts and Claire Avis.
Scott, even more exciting race. How was it at the front end?
Yeah, I think probably not as exciting as it would have been just behind me. I think there were quite a lot of good battles getting on, so I knew from race 1 with the coolant issues and the ambient temperatures that I needed to just get in front, get some clean air and let everybody else squabble between themselves and taking all the excess heat from the cars. So got a reasonable initial start and then missed third gear, so then just looked in the mirrors as everybody else just started creeping towards me, but luckily managed to keep them behind while they had their sort of battles, and then just managed the pace really, let everybody else sort of jump all over each other, and while I just sort of managed it as best I could to keep the temperatures down and and bring it home.
So couldn't quite catch Scott, but you were getting some great lap times in there, and interesting start with our pole guy dropping back.
Yeah, I don't quite know what happened on the start there, but I got a little bit of a better start than the first race, so yeah, interesting first corner really.
You guys pulled a bit of gap away and then you suddenly started to be joined by the others as well, so good battles all round.
Yeah, once I got up to second, I was getting quite a lot of pressure from Rudd. Scott made 1 or 2 mistakes that I got a little bit closer on, but wasn't quite able to make the move. But yeah, all in all, it was a really clean, nice race. To be fair, it was good.
Simon, the first and the third, a good weekend overall.
Yeah, really happy. I think pole 2 fastest laps as well, so it's really good points for the championship for me after Silverstone. So yeah, hopefully it's a good sign of the next few rounds to come.
You're getting fastest laps quite a lot in that race there. Was there anything happening sort of mid-race? I was seeing you progress through the pack and then it sort of stayed static and then came forward again. Yeah,
I was having some overheating problems, so it's really hot today, and these cars aren't great like following each other really closely when it's this hot. So basically when the car gets a certain temperature, like the power backs off a little bit. So I got mine really early in the race. Meant I lost a bit of a gap, but then as I then started getting faster again, the others started having the overheating problem. So it allowed me to catch up, set a fast lap, and then overtake them whilst they were having some issues.
Great racing overall. Looking forward to the next one?
Yeah, we'll give it a go. Never been to Cadwell, I think it is, so and another one to learn, but it's all good fun.
Lots of twists and turns there, mini Nürburgring they call it.
I've heard, yeah, so I think I did a bit of research into Castle Combe, because not been here before, so I've got to put the same amount of effort into Cadwell, if not more, I think.
Simon Rudd up into second place in the championship. Scott Parkin continues to lead, but the gap down to 12 points. Gary Mitchell in third from Lewis Ryan, then Spencer Fortag and Charlie Barr. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time at Cadwell Park.